she heard this inner voice, "This is a course in miracles, please take notes." And she went to her colleague and said, "I hear this voice, I think I'm going insane." And her colleague said, "Just write down what the voice says, and then we'll decide whether you're insane or not." When I was young, a long time ago, I had some interest in that, and I experimented a little bit with that, and I had a little bit of experience with presences. But when I went through my awakening, I lost interest in that. My focus was not on that. Although I have come into contact with quite a few people who, over the years, who channel spirits and spirit presences, who, you know what channeling is. I've looked at I've spoken to and looked at what is being channeled. The important question is, these presences are also just manifestations of the one consciousness, obviously. So whatever you contact, and even if you contact extraterrestrials, they will be manifestation of the one consciousness. So ultimately, there's nothing alien in this world. As far as my interest for many years, even after awakening, has been in channeling, although I never attempted to channel myself. Channeling would mean one specific entity uses your mind and speaks through you. Some people occasionally people thought that I was channeling when I speak, but I don't have the sense that a specific entity is speaking through me, rather than that consciousness is using my mind directly, rather than through an intermediary, so to speak, because the entity that speaks through the channeler, again, is an expression of consciousness. It's always consciousness. I've had some people who've told me that they saw me being overshadowed by some. I don't know whether it's the case or not. I don't need to explore this. In a way, when I speak, it flows from the presence. In that sense, it's channeled in the sense that I do not, as a person, I do not construct the sentences that I speak. They flow from a deeper level, but I don't feel that they are dictated, so to speak, by an entity. I have examined the product of channelings. Lots of channelings are not that profound. They are very nice words, but ultimately don't say very much. Or there are exceptions. I'll get that in a minute. Or they tell you stories that they could be very interesting science fiction. What Ashtar is doing, the commander of the galactic fleet, and so on. Maybe he is, maybe he is not. I don't need to know that. There are some channelings that are exceptional, where there's actually a higher consciousness at work. So, for example, The Course in Miracles is a book that was channeled through a medium. The medium, Helen Schuckman, was a psychologist at Columbia University, and this voice came through her and spoke through her, and she was writing, basically taking down dictation every day in her office at Columbia University. She only told one colleague about it. She had to lock the door when she was doing it because they would have thought she was insane. So she was taking down dictation. It started with, she heard this inner voice, "This is a course in miracles, please take notes." And she went to her colleague and said, I hear this voice, I think I'm going insane. And her colleague said, just write down what the voice says, and then we'll decide whether you're insane or not. And she wrote down, and it was not insane. It's actually a deeply inspired teaching, not for everybody, because the form in which it comes is not suitable for everyone. No one spiritual teaching is suitable for everyone. But the Course in Miracles has survived and will survive as a spiritual classic. There are other channelings too that are quite profound, but they tend to be exceptional. So my main interest is, as far as the spirit realm is concerned, what comes through when people channel the messages. Now, unfortunately, there is the belief in many people that if they have passed away, they automatically are in possession of greater wisdom. And I don't believe that to be the case from some experience. According to the famous dictum, just because they are dead doesn't mean they are smart. So you get a lot of posturing from these entities. Sometimes they want to be taken seriously, they exaggerate their importance sometimes. And at other times, it can often also be the case, I observed, that the ego of the person channeling is actually the entity. So there isn't an entity, but the ego gets blown up and amplified, and the ego realizes how much power it can have over others when it suddenly changes its voice and looks up at the ceiling or something and goes, "Hello, entities. I am here to guide you." And it's very impressive. I mean, it's scary when you listen to them. You go, oh my God, he really must know the secret of the universe. So I wouldn't, spiritually speaking, I would not seek that out too much. It is comforting, of course, if you go to somebody who can contact deceased. And there are very few who are genuine. It can be very comforting to know that a loved one is still there, has not disappeared into nothingness. But there's also a lot of deception there with people who do that. But a few are very good. But don't lose yourself in that, because then you give your own power away to other entities, and that can be also quite dangerous. So don't lose yourself in that realm. Go to consciousness directly, rather than seeking an intermediary through which to access wisdom. Rather than that, find the wisdom that is within you. You don't need an intermediary in order to provide you with wisdom. So because it is inseparable from the essence of who you are and what you are. The wisdom is in you. So don't seek it. If something like that happened to what had happened to Helen Schuckmann, that's a different thing. Suddenly you are overpowered by this. And in most cases, when a voice comes to you, it's not good news.